This particular poem, the best way I can tell you to follow it is to think of it like a short story narrative, like an actual story. Don't even think about it as kind of like an inception type thing. Don't think about it. Don't sit there and try to work it out. Just listen to it. And I think God purposely did that because a lot of times He'll give us something or take us somewhere. We try to sit there and analyze it and figure it out instead of just going with it and being like, okay, Lord, I trust you. I don't understand what's going on now, but I'm going to trust you. That's kind of how I felt with this poem as I was writing it, and He's giving me the words. I'm like, this sounds really pretty. I don't know what's going on, but okay, I'm going to go with you, Lord. And get to the end, and I'm like, wow. So, spoiler alert, Sturger dies. Eh. um, but it is like a surrealism poem. Yeah. Surrealism is kind of like a warped reality, like a dream like thing. So that's why I'm like, don't try to, I don't know what's going on. Just go with it because there's a talking scarecrow and all sorts of stuff. And then Sturger is symbolizes regret or regrets, but Sturger is one particular person that just won't go away. All right. So it's called Death to Sterger. And again, don't try to analyze it. Just listen, and I pray that y'all get a message from it. Most importantly. I look at the sky, gray, no sun out. Blackbirds fill the air. There's a scarecrow in my backyard. He's been off his post for quite some time, going around digging ditches and digging graves. I wonder which one he's digging for me. There's a Bible in the dresser. It's the only thing in the house that isn't worn down or falling apart. It's solid, durable, lasting. I turn pages. The words in my eyes touch. Something begins to make contact, and I realize that I've been in mourning now for some time. I attended a funeral for me. I killed my fish, buried self in the tomb, but I've been held hostage by Sterger. Sterger came and made a home out of my home, following me around, reminding me of the past, reminding me of the person I left back there in the cemetery. I show Sterger the obituary. Read it, I say, read it. Don't you see what it says? I ask, don't you see it? It says that person is long gone. She is now dead. She no longer resides in this house. But the way Sterger talks about her, going on and on about my old self, you could have sworn I never got rid of her. I even looked around, peeking into the rooms, looking to see if she was still here somewhere, hiding in a place I couldn't see. But if that were the case, the scarecrow would have told me, right? And as Sterger attempts to engage me in another one of those stories about who I used to be, I continue to stare outside. The scarecrow is still digging ditches and digging graves. I wonder which one he's digging for me. The more I ignore Sterger, the meaner Sterger becomes. Making sure these stories are heard loud and clear, rain clouds are forming under my eyelids. Well, this time the stories are painful. Well, they're not really stories. Berating rants, more or less. Reminding me of every mistake that I ever made. These seem to be working. I listen to them more day after day. A man came knocking on my door, but I didn't answer this time. I stared out the people and asked, what did he want? He kept begging to come in, but I made it very clear I didn't have any room for any more uninvited guests. One uninvited guest is bad enough. Sterger intruded my space, and now you show up? No, sir. I'm sorry. No, I lied. I'm not sorry. Get off my porch. I don't know who you are. This man kept smiling, doing a tap dance here and there, saying he didn't mean any harm. He just wanted to chat, said we could be friends. I refused. Kept the door locked up tight. I began thinking to myself, I've been talking to this man, through this peephole, for an awfully long time, too long in fact. As he mumbled and bumbled some gibberish I already heard before and danced the same dance I had already seen by men like him making appearances at my door, I reached for the Bible that I found in the dresser drawer. My instinct to tell him off becomes overwhelmed by a great sadness for him. The word tells me, walk in love, love the sinner, pray for your enemies. Eventually I dive into it so deep that when I come up from the living water, he's gone. It's the next day. This time Sterger is in my face, bantering about how I'll always be alone. I never gave the man a chance, whispering that the old me, she would have at least gave the man a seat. I keep reminding Sterger that she's no longer here. You're more than welcome to go visit her in her grave, I say. The scarecrow's been out there digging all day. For once, Sterger has nothing to say. Not a peep nor a whisper, but I know better. The only time Sterger's mouth is shut is when there are evil things being thought up. I checked my mailbox. I got a word in the mail straight from the postmaster himself that some special man has been reserved for me, so I need not pay attention to any of these strange men that show up on my doorstep. But to that, I'm greeted with reminders from Sterger, of course, that I'm 24 years old. I've never had a date, never held hands, and the first time I slow danced with a guy was at my senior year of prom, and even that guy wasn't all that thrilled about dancing with me. He just did it because none of the other guys would. Starch's advice is that I ought to be glad that any man shows up on my porch, and if I were really wise, I would learn to take the first offer given to me. Starch says I'm stupid for passing up on these opportunities. That's when I posed Sterger the question, is this discussion about the dead chick in my graveyard or the curd meat who lives and breathes? My language, as you can see, has now changed. Sterger is getting on my last nerve. Always whining and crying about a person who no longer exists. She no longer exists, but yet she is reincarnated through the mention of her existence. Some days, even though I know I laid her to rest, I feel like I won't truly escape her, not even when I'm at my best, because it's these days, the days like this where I go back and forth with Sterger that no matter how hard I fight, I just can't seem to win. She's haunting me. And she's not even the one doing it. Sterger carries out her bidding from beyond, and I'm tired of it. Argumentative. Sterger continuously starts up arguments, but the lone argument on the table right now is how I just should have given the guy my number. Waiting on your good thing is okay, Sterger says. But having a good thing now is better, and once you're done having fun, you can move on to the real good thing later. In the meantime, there's a scarecrow in my backyard who's still digging ditches and still digging graves, and I'm left wondering which one is he digging for me. I gaze across the way and I notice my neighbor took the man in. It appears she opened her threshold for one of his twins. Well, she's dead now. What the world will never tell you, what Sterger won't mention, is that there's more of that man. More than the twins roaming around this place. They're all identical but have a different face, and they share the same mannerisms as well as the same objective. Get in, get out, and get in the next house. They're in every city. You can find them everywhere. They are thieves, and they steal things that cannot easily be replaced. No one sells insurance for water damage caused by tears. There's no fix in store for broken hearts. I checked every corner store there is, and there's no cure for emotional mental breakdowns. I've looked all over the place. They do have something for unwanted gifts, for the diseases in a box left behind by these men, but if only there was something to get rid of Sterger. Sterger, who always seems to pop up making rounds, turns out I'm not the only one who's had to deal with this tirade. Reminders of broken promises and every blunder every made, each and every bad decision, those things you wish you could take back but you can't. So you're left with looking at Sterger, and Sterger looking at you. This house is too small. There just isn't enough room. I think I saw Sterger unloading a suitcase just the other day, and I yelled in frustration, "When are you going to leave?" Sterger simply kept unpacking, then looked at me and said, "You really should sweep in here, you know. It's no wonder you don't have anyone. You're so lazy. Hey, remember that time when you kept procrastinating on every single assignment you kept getting? I remember it. I do." Sterger doesn't refer to the past any longer. My old self is mistaken as me. The rants continue on with, "It's no wonder you didn't flunk out of school. Goodness knows you're an idiot, dear. Just look at the mess you're in now. Single, no love interest, broke, no real job in the future, and you waste your time with idle daydreams. I mean, really, dear, you need my company." That's what Sterger said. You need me. I look at my calendar. Sterger has only been here for a few days, but it feels like decades, and finally I grow sick of it. I drag Sterger to the backyard. "Hey, wait, where are you?" I drag Sterger over to the scarecrow, toss it straight into its proper resting place, unearthed in the ground. I took the shovel and buried with it every hurtful memory, all the errors of my ways, every single nightmare from all the times I strayed when Sterger told me that it only ended back where I was. I threw in the jar of sour tears I no longer have to drink. I chucked in the box of twisted images, those thoughts of me I no longer have to think. I killed off my past. I have no more regrets. They all led me to the sun. And he got me to where I am. I am stronger than what I was, a better person is who I've become. And now I see, with each turn of the shovel, the falling of the dirt, that I've been holding on for too long. And I let Satan come and wrap me tight with thoughts like, no man will ever love you. You have no value. Girls like you only work one night. But my Father says I'm worth more. His word tells me so. And if he said so, then it's true. I may not always get it right, but those things have passed away, and this shall pass too. This shall pass. Satan's attacks are nothing new. The scarecrow returned to his post, smiling. I was wondering when you would do it, he says. I was wondering when you would. Sterger and that dead girl are out of my life. Maybe you should try removing them from yours. A proper burial is what you should give. That's just precisely what you should do. Thank you.